I'm Ocean County Prosecutor Joe Coronado. Have you ever been pulled over? Do you know that there are simple things you can do to help the police officer ensure everyone's safety? It's extremely important to show respect even if you don't think you did anything wrong. Take a look at this video and think about what you can do if you're ever pulled over.
Exactly. Oh. I don't want to do that because then I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Hey guys, I was just thinking about it. You know I got pulled over the other night.
Really?
Why? Yeah, I was just going a little too fast, and the cop pulled me over and would not leave me alone.
You know, that's pretty crazy because Josh got pulled over the other night too.
Really?
Did he get a hard time too?
Well,
he's driving down the road on the way home, just doing his thing, when he hears the sirens. He pulls the car over into a safe spot, away from the road, and he parks. He turns off the engine and he puts on his hazards. He puts on his dome light, and he puts his hands on the steering wheel. The officer walks up. "Evening, sir. You know why I'm pulling you over tonight?" And he was all like, "No, I don't. Could you, tell me or, whatever?" You know how he is.
Seriously, Josh? He said that?
I know. Just listen. Well, sir, one of your taillights is out. "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I have an event I have to get to and I'm so late. Truthfully, I didn't even know." "Can I see your license and registration?" "Of course, it's right in the glove box." See, that's what I'm always saying. He put his hands on the wheel, he worked with the officer, everything went smoothly.
Yeah, but what happened next?
Well, the officer walked away and Josh just waited in the car nervously. Aw, geez. I totally should have been more careful or whatever. I see that this is your first stop, so I'm gonna let you go with a warning. But remember, you should always pay attention because safety is the first priority. Yes, ma'am. I won't let it happen again.
Wait, so I thought something bad was gonna happen.
No, that's what I'm telling you guys.
What?
You guys tell me all the time all this bad stuff that happens. If you don't make a big deal out of it, you won't have any trouble.
Yeah, I get it. Respect gets you respect.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you guys. Okay, so that wasn't really J.J. Abrams or anything. But it probably seemed a little familiar to you if you've ever been pulled over or in a car with someone who was pulled over. This traffic stop ended okay. Well, Josh might not think so because he probably didn't like getting pulled over, but in the grand scheme of things, it was uneventful. Let's take a look back and see what happened, and maybe even throw in a few other situations and see what he did right. First, Josh pulled over to a safe spot on the road. He looked for a light and even turned on the interior light in his car. He even put his hazards on to alert other drivers. Never pull over on the left side of the road and always try to find the safest spot possible to protect yourself and the police officer. In our scene with Josh, the conversation with the officer was being retold by, me. Let's take a look at another scene where Sam gets pulled over for running through a stop sign.
Good morning, ma'am. Officer Hayes from the police department. You know why I stopped you this morning?
No, I do not, sir. I'm
All
sorry.
right. The reason I stopped you is because you blew past the stop sign over there. All right, you ran right through it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize it.
No problem. Do you have your license, registration, and insurance?
Yes.
This is a stop during the daytime, but notice how she found a safe area away from traffic and rolled her window all the way down to speak to the officer. She also turned off her vehicle engine and the radio. Did you notice the use of words that show respect? Words like ma'am, officer, and sir show that you intend to work through this in a professional manner and help put the other person at ease.
Do you have your license, registration, and insurance?
Yes. Can I just grab it from my bag?
Absolutely.
Here you go.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Did you notice that Sam told the officer that her documents were in the bag? If you were the police officer, would you feel comfortable with someone reaching in a bag or the glove compartment without letting you know why? As we could see here with Sam, keeping your hands on the steering wheel and letting the officer know that you'll be reaching for something can help with the officer at ease and know that you're willing to cooperate. It's extremely important to be clear with the officer when you need to reach for something. If you're a passenger in a car that has been pulled over, you need to act the same respectful way as the driver. Think of being a police officer approaching a car, and you see someone in the back seat is reaching in their backpack. Do you know what's in that backpack? Neither does the officer. Be respectful and make sure that you alert the officer to anything that you or anyone in the car may do during the stop so that everyone is on the same page. Now, let's move on. Sometimes you may be lucky enough, like Josh, to just get a warning, but that is not always the case. If the officer feels that you have done something that is deserving of a ticket, then the best thing that you could do is accept that and follow his or her instructions on how to either pay it or contest it.
Alright, ma'am, I'm giving you a ticket in front of the stop sign, alright? You gotta realize it's a pretty dangerous intersection. We have a lot of accidents over here, and that's the last thing I want to come out for is for you to get in an accident, alright? There's a scheduled court date on here, alright? If you want to contest the ticket, you can go to the court date. If not, you just want to pay it, there's instructions on the back. Either way, I'd contact the court clerk and just let them know what you plan to do, okay?
Thank you very much,
have a nice day,
officer.
ma'am.
Thank you, you too.
Once the officer has returned safely to his car, you should slowly pull away and continue driving. When your cooperation allows the officer to safely execute a traffic stop, there is a safe ending for all and everyone makes it home without arrest, altercation, or injury. Here are a few points to remember if you are ever pulled over. Immediately pull over into a parking lot or onto a side street. If neither are available, then immediately pull over to the far right side of the road. Turn your vehicle engine and radio off. Never pull over on the left side of the road. Always keep your hands visible and avoid sudden movements. Be sure you roll the window all the way down. It's okay to ask for ID if the officer is in plain clothes. If you feel threatened or unsafe, you can call the local police to confirm the officer's identity. Make eye contact with the police officer and speak to him or her with respect. Always remain in your vehicle and never get out unless instructed to do so by the officer. Be patient and refrain from using your cell phone for any reason. Never argue with a police officer. Use your court date for that. You can always ask questions if you have any. Oh, and one more thing. If you're ever driving and you see someone else pulled over, or maybe even an emergency vehicle or a tow truck on the side of the road, make sure you check the lane next to you, and if it is clear, move over and give them some room to work. Even if you can't move over, slow down so that you are ready if something happens. This is a good rule of thumb if anytime there is something going on the side of the road, even if it's just some guy with a flat tire. Imagine you having to pull off the road for some reason, and how frightening it might be to have cars going right by you at 70 miles per hour. A little courtesy can go a long way to saving a life. Hopefully, you'll never have to use any of the tips in this video. But if you do, remember, respect and cooperation will keep everyone safe next time you find yourself pulled over.
Hi, I'm Donna Sotaro, and my son was killed by a distracted driver. On June 6, 2010, my son was killed right in this area by a distracted driver who failed to follow the move over law. He was actually standing over there by his car, and the driver failed to slow down and move over and hit Mark. And right in this area where the memorial is where he actually landed. He was here that day in pursuit of a gentleman that was supposed to be running through the woods with a gun. Along came a driver doing 70 miles an hour and hit Mark. The driver actually was distracted. He was looking around. There was a lot of activity in this area at the time, and he stayed in the right-hand lane, and the right-hand lane exited at this area, and instead of exiting, he ended up in the shoulder where he hit Mark, missed the other two officers and hit Mark. The move over law became a law in January of 2009. After my son was hit, few people knew about this law. I realized, being a teacher at Lacey Township High School and speaking to the driver's education teachers, They said nothing was in the book about this law, and that was over a year later. When you see lights on the side of the road, whether it be a first aid, fire, police, and now recently we've included garbage truck, and also tow truck drivers, if they are displaying a white, yellow, red, blue, flashing, blinking, alternating blinking light, you must slow down under the posted speed limit. And if it's safe to do so, move over a lane and give these men and women room to do their jobs safely so they can go home to their families. To me, it gives me peace to be in this area because there's nothing worse than a parent getting that phone call. And because he was 29, had a family of his own, lived 30 miles away, I didn't know where he was, and that's a nightmare. That's absolute nightmare to get that phone call and have to go to the hospital and then end up with the results that we had, by the end of the day. Dear Uncle Mark, with a heart, and says, "I will never forget you always. Rest in peace," and then a little heart that says Dad. And then I wrote him a note that says, "Mark, you were the son that every mom wishes that they had. I miss you more than every day. Until we meet again, love, Mom."
I hope that you're never in a situation where you are pulled over. But if you are, just remember that respect and patience will get you and the officer home safely. And if someone else is pulled over, don't forget to move over. It could save a life. Special thanks to Donna Sotero for sharing Mark's story and to Lacey Township High School television crew for their help in the project. I'm Ocean County Prosecutor Joe Coronado. Thanks for watching.